The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Kido Jr.
And I'm Jazz Minero. Join me later in the Bulletin for Sports.
In this edition, Minister expresses health worker gap, Apple farmers seek help in lay, and research raises need to discuss MP dual role. It is estimated that one health worker in PNG can treat 30,000 patients. This is a sad scenario which Health Minister Dr. Lino Tom says the government is working on closing the patient health worker gap.
Papua New Guinea's official population estimate varies between 9 and 11 million, considering the last national census was conducted in 2011. Health Minister Dr. Lino Tom expressed concern that PNG's population growth is outgrowing the government's ability to cater to its citizens. The gap between health workers and the populace keeps widening, with one doctor catering to 20,000 people. However, if we are to go by the United Nations population estimate of 15 to 17 million, the ratio would be one health worker to 30,000 people.
So that's why I make my health minister, one time I live in Blong, Prime Minister, me like breaching this like gap now. We are putting in some measures in place. But one first something when me making, you say me can talk, but money is driving over the policy. So me asking government, the Marape Rosso government will increase the number of health workforce inside the country. We'll put in more budget so that you can take him up on this on issues where, big issues where board, deputy board chairman and me talk. We'll fund him on new plus structure. Long last budget, we're on making budget long 2023. Mibla asked him 356 million, but all put him 121 million. So you may fight him long, Prime Minister bring me. At least you may reach him halfway, yeah?
The Health Minister said the 121 million kina funding was directly made available to provincial health authorities and not sent to the Department of Health for disbursement.
Health Department. So now challenge Blomi and Kamlong CEO. One black key performance indicator where Bami looking long assessing work long in charge long this province and time looking all that district and rural health facilities all starting open.
Dr. Tom said level 5 and 6 health facilities, such as the newly opened East Sepik Provincial Hospital, are meant to treat severe illnesses only, not flu, malaria or pneumonia.
So Amla, challenge from me come long, you blow all PHAs, now none of the PHAs you come son up. Now me bla make him on the new bla reform, me bla make him together on the World Health Organization, but me bla salim all workman come long make him audit, bla structure bla. Suppose Mibla looking was a migat implanting more driver inside long here. And many was a Mibla long here, you plan to prioritize him all positions. Suppose Mibla looking was a migat implanting cleaner or you can implant your office clerk. And many was a Mibla no make it work Mibla good. The administration must be lean and mean. You must cut him grease, rousing long administration, and you must sell him go long over the district so that all district health facilities must open. You Walkman long housing na health the biggest and greatest impact is here at the primary healthcare level, in a long tertiary healthcare level. Lo primary healthcare kind of some vaccination outreach program, kind of some family planning.
Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
The National Cultural Commission is addressing challenges faced by graduates seeking employment opportunities by offering an on-the-job internship training program. The program aims to enhance the knowledge and skills of students from tertiary institutions who are preparing to enter the workforce. Commission has committed to increasing the number of intakes and developing its manpower through human resource development. A memorandum of understanding was signed with the University of Papua New Guinea to create a student internship development pathway to train, develop and mentor students every year. The National Cultural Commission will relocate to a new office complex in April 2023 and increase the number of student trainees from 2 to 4. At a farewell ceremony for 2 students who completed their 14-week public relations industrial engagement training with the Commission, the Executive Director emphasized the Commission's commitment to training, developing and mentoring students.
We are training them. People, what I used to see is that when they go to art school, when they go to social science or anthropologists, ethologists, then quickly they want to move across to law, business, money is in this industry. Money is in this industry. So we have to focus. So that's why we want to encourage the students and our lecturers, teachers, and our staff as well.
The University of Papua New Guinea expressed its gratitude towards the Commission for hosting the ceremony, and the head of journalism and public relations Strand commended the Commission for its leadership and commitment to developing human resources.
I think they're job ready. They're job ready, and the university is moving towards that space, providing the best education that they can give to the students to be ready for the industry.
Papua New Guinea has been reassured by the People's Republic of China of its continued support in its implementation of Chinese-funded projects in PNG. China, as well as PNG's foreign ministers, met last week on the bilateral visit to the People's Republic of China, and both have agreed to progress the bilateral relationship between PNG and China to greater heights for mutual benefits for both countries and their people.
State Council and Minister of Foreign Affairs King Gang of the People's Republic of China has assured PNG on its continued support in its implementation of Chinese-funded projects in PNG. PNG Minister for Foreign Affairs Justin Kuchenko, on his bilateral visit to the People's Republic of China, met with Minister Gang last week, and both have agreed that as foreign ministers of their respective countries, this presented a valuable opportunity to progress the bilateral relationship between PNG and China to greater heights for mutual benefits for both countries and their people. Gang reassured Kuchenko on the maintenance of the Port Moresby International Convention Center, the building of teachers' apartments for the Butuka Academy, the construction of the Tarama Military Hospital, development of the Sir Michael Somara Peace Park, and commit to funding and construction of the Gero Hospital. Gang also responded positively to the construction and renovation of the Tarama Barracks Primary School and assistance into renovation and reconstruction of police barracks, with NCD commencing with the Badili Police Barracks. Both ministers are also looking forward to renewing discussions to have direct flights from Port Moresby, to increase people-to-people exchange, to promote tourism between the two countries, and to task senior officials to commence discussions on this bilateral arrangement at the earliest time possible. Kuchenko moved to welcoming the update Minister Gang of PNG table tennis players being invited to China to be trained, and the education scholarship provided by the Chinese government to PNG nationals. Kuchenko then had the opportunity to visit China and Papua New Guinea friendship class at Futian Primary School in Shenzhen. Furthermore, Minister Gang informed of the Chinese government's intention to host the Belt and Road Leaders Forum later this year and is welcoming PNG to the forum. Kuchenko confirmed Prime Minister James Marape's attendance. Jasmine Eru, TVWAN News.
State Councillor and Foreign Minister for the People's Republic of China King Gang has raised China's concerns on proposed PNG-Australia bilateral security treaty and its intended purposes. Gang reiterated that China's presence in the Pacific is not a security threat and went on to seek reassurance that the purported bilateral security arrangement with Australia was not in some way seeking to counter China's influence in PNG and the Pacific. He added that China's presence in the Pacific region was to promote development cooperation and enhance collective efforts towards addressing challenges faced by both PIC and China as developing nations. The Chinese government Parliament is looking to host the China Pacific Island countries this year, including Papua New Guinea. The PNG National Research Institute today launched issues paper number 43 on the ineffective dual roles of Papua New Guinea members of parliament. Authored by Michael Kabuni, a PhD candidate from the Australian National University, Kabuni highlights the issues and argues for the need to start a national conversation on the dual roles of members of parliament.
Launched in Port Moresby today by the National Research Institute is issues paper number 43 titled The Ineffective Dual Roles of Papua New Guinea Members of Parliament, Why It Matters. Authored by Papua New Guinean academic and PhD candidate from the Australian National University, Michael Kabuni. The paper was initially presented in February 2022 during the national conference facilitated by the Autonomy and Decentralization Research Project led by Dr. Thomas Webster.
And decentralization of government in Papua New Guinea. So preceding that, we had about 9 months of discussions, seminars in this room here, trying to think about what could be the problems with autonomy and decentralization, finding ways on how to improve governance in Papua New Guinea and strengthening the autonomous governance systems. Everybody agrees that basic service delivery is not going well.
Kabuni examines the dual roles of members of parliament and how effective the PNG parliament has performed over the recent years. The main argument is that not only is Parliament weak in the face of executive dominance, but also demonstrates a lack of interest in focusing on national priorities.
In Papua New Guinea, we have slightly different idea of what the role of the politicians should be. And that is, they are lawmakers, but they are also service deliverers. That's why the title is Dual Responsibility of the MPs. And the whole argument of this paper is this dual responsibility working? And how does this dual responsibility affect the core responsibility of the MPs, which is to make laws?
Kabuni argues that MPs see no incentive to take their law-making and policy-making powers seriously. He says this is because their political survival depends less on their role as lawmakers and more on their added responsibility as service deliverers, which was created under the 1995 provincial local level government reforms and the creation of the DDA in 2014. Kabuni says the neglect of lawmaking duties is a serious concern because the PNG constitution exclusively vests the lawmaking powers to Parliament. He says if Parliament does not engage in meaningful debate on policy and laws, no other entity will. NRI Director Dr. Osborne Sanida thanked Kabuni for his efforts in taking time to observe, analyze and bring out for consideration the issues affecting the functions of the most important institution in PNG, the National Parliament. Mary Silla Kelleton, TVWAN News.
Furthermore, Dr. Sanida reiterated Kabuni's emphasis on the need for a national conversation, stating that Papua New Guinea's young democracy is at stake, and if nothing is done soon, it will get even more difficult to fix and change as required.
We need to have a process for a national conversation, bringing together the older generations, drawing out from them their aspirations, their dreams, and the constraints as they saw over the years at the initial independence period. We need a process, a national process, to have a more holistic review of our system.
This is TV1 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Lager. Bungim Yumi.
Whether we're playing sport, exercising for fitness, being active for work or play, just having some fun, or just chilling, there is one name we can count on that we know will keep us going strong. Skell Rice. Healthy, nutritious, delicious medium grain rice full of vitamins and minerals. Skell helps us maintain a healthy, active lifestyle so we can enjoy every day.
Skell Rice. Skell Life.
All One Talks adds some excitement to your festivities with the Flame Easter Bonanza. Win a slice of a whopping 300,000 kina by purchasing the Flame Family Bundle Pack, which includes rice, sugar, flour and vegetable oil, all in one go. Highlight these goodies on your receipt and scribble your full name and contact details on the back and pop it in the entry box in selected stores across PNG. Full fortnightly draws, 100 winners, 3,000 kina each. You don't want to miss out. This promotion ends on the 31st of May. Flame, strength and energy. Terms and conditions apply.
Open net.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo and milk taste and added nutrients, Milo and milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
Freak. Ma'am? Yes? I'm here to sell my soap, ma'am. Not interested. Ugly people are not allowed in here, okay?
Scarred by cruelty.
If we want an effective product, Magda's Magic Soap.
At this point, you've never had or seen 200,000 pesos ever in your whole life.
There are more important things than money in this world. Respect.
I thought I'd befriend Magda so I can gain her trust.
And she has no idea that you're connected to us?
You want to look at my formula?
Well, folks, after literally years of negotiation between the Fan and the management of Steve Menzies, we have secured the great man for the show. Welcome to the Fan.
This is all going through my head, and then all of a sudden he passes it back. Oh, my God.
Today we have enlisted the help of Panthers co-captain and superstar halfback.
When you've kicked a ball, you usually know, and especially on the chip kicks, I usually know.
Thanks to Nathan Cleary, invaluable insight for the fans out there, for the kids out there.
Welcome back. An unidentified woman was hit by a speeding vehicle at Central Waigani at midday today. The brown 10-seater vehicle sped off. Its registration number is unknown. St. John Ambulance were on the scene immediately and assisted the victim before taking her to the Port Moresby General Hospital. Eyewitnesses told the police that the vehicle in question headed towards Boroko after hitting the pedestrian. Eyewitnesses were advised to report the incident at Boroko Traffic Office and formally lay a complaint. The public is being cautioned to apply basic traffic rules when on the road, specifically looking left, right, and then left again before crossing the road. Most of the Morobe provincial government business arms have temporarily ceased operations. Provincial Administrator Max Bruton said under the leadership of Governor Luther Wenge, a resolution was passed to close down these ventures as they have not been making any money.
A number of companies were set up using taxpayers' funds during the term of former Morobe Governor Ginsen Saunu. The most notable one was Morobe Resources Holdings, which was an amalgamation of Kumgi Holdings and Morobe Sustainable Investment Limited. The managing director of MRHL, Elizabeth Lolo Bradshaw, was terminated on January 30th. Another business arm was Morobe Alluvial Mining Limited, which was established on the 14th of May 2020 to directly help local alluvial miners, especially in the districts of Bulolo and Wawaria. Since 2020, MAML was reportedly allocated 5 million kina in 2021 and 2022, while over 20 million kina was used to set it up. MAML's Chief Executive Officer Brigitte Pondros was terminated on March 8th. Provincial Administrator Max Bruton said while these companies have been allocated millions of kina annually, they have not been generating income for the province. This was why the company heads were terminated and their operations suspended. Bruton gave 2 reasons for the decision. One was because for 5 years, most of the business arms have not been paying dividends to the Morobe provincial government, and 2, their operations were not in consultation with the MPG. Bruton said a team has been put in place to recoup all equipment that have been purchased using Morobe's money. Furthermore, once a new board of directors is in place, a new management team will be appointed for the business arms and operations will resume. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
A remote village in Medang's Raikos district has the potential to export apples and other fresh produce. The apple farmers of Gumbarami need their airstrip, which they built themselves, to be assessed and opened.
The remote village of Gumbarami in Medang's Raikos district has an estimated 10,000 apple trees. The trees came from 6 apple seeds that Bondogawa picked from discarded apple cores at Ramu in 1983. He took the seeds to Gumbarami in the Nahurawa LLG and planted them. Once he saw leaves emerging, he replanted them in the soil. He did all these with no formal training.
Apple and kuro kama na mi rugi masana mi how mas lugu tirulo desala ramla apple fresh mi para lugu mi how mas lugu sekolah no mi katina Prani mori ham blongen, bun blongen mi karu kena prani na kamu. Apple kata ni sana area soromi na mi supply desa apple ni karo. Au kata press 11 lo house area blomi press blomi lo Gumbarami. Na samrami sami karo press are lo press blomi press 7 na moro na ta. Now apple ni kamafa prani isa lo Nahua.
From Gumbarami, it takes locals 1.5 days to walk to Ramu, where they can sell their produce and buy goods. It is no walk in the park, as locals trek over fast-flowing rivers and climb up steep mountainsides. Gawa said they lost 4 men and 2 children last year.
Megi mosen na miko santo ka. Kai mipra wo mo tanda pro destra bridge. Sabra pikin ini, sabra papa, or tundono destra wara kari miko iko ro press nunggu na mipra ino paini mo sabra or mipra paini mo kisim stick na sudah ni isa ta wara mipra kisim na ko karani ro pe.
It has been months since the last SEAL aircraft landed at their airstrip. The people of Gumbarami were advised to cover cracks on the landing strip. They have done so and now need the appropriate rural airstrip authority to assess their work and help open the airstrip again. Instead of going to Medang, they made the long journey to Leh because the Morobe Community Development Division has been assisting them in their Healthy Village vision, as well as providing a platform for their voices to be heard. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
The Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment has committed to ensuring government has proper laws, policies and institutions in place to empower women and ensure that they are safe from gender-based violence. The committee will be having its first inquiry as a permanent parliamentary committee this May in Port Moresby.
The Permanent Parliamentary Committee on Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment is calling on the government officials to explain whether the government's existing laws, policies and institutions on GEWE are in place and functioning. Chairman of this Permanent Parliamentary Committee and Governor for NCD, Powes Pakop, said the committee is wasting no time in investigating how the government is delivering for the women and girls of our country. Pakop said the committee is using its mandated powers to shine a light on the issues that need attention if our women and girls are to live safe, peaceful and prosperous lives. Deputy Chairman of the committee and Governor for East Sepik Province, Alan Bird, also endorsed these sentiments, stating that the role of the committee is to elevate issues that are important to women and girls into national discussions. He clarified that before the Special Parliamentary Committee on GBV's work in the last term, Parliament had hardly used committee's powers as a check and balance on government. However, he said the GBV committee showed how parliamentary committees are supposed to work by holding officials to account in public. Governor Baird added that this kind of public transparency and accountability is critical to ensuring government resources are better used to promote women's rights. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The National Cultural Commission continues and has provided a funding of 10,000 kina for the upcoming Enga Cultural Show in 2023. Enga Cultural Show Chair Iron Lady Margaret Potane is committed to hosting the event despite the turbulence in the province and ensure it grows in size and quality. The 2023 Enga Cultural Show will go ahead amidst law and order challenges. Acknowledging the funding support of the National Cultural Commission, Show Chairlady Margaret Potane announced that this year's Enga Cultural Show will be even bigger and better. 35 tourists from France are booked to attend the festival, scheduled for August 11th to the 13th in provincial capital Wabeg. Smaller festivals will be hosted as lead-up activities to the main cultural show. Potane thanked NCC for being the first sponsor to jump on board with 10,000 kina. In addition to funding support, the NCC will donate 2 laptops to the Enga Cultural Educational Program, further enhancing cultural educational programs in the province. Potane assured the public that the tribal fighting are isolated incidents and do not represent the province as a whole. She emphasized that the cultural show is for the benefit of visitors and those wanting to learn more about Enga Province. NCC Executive Director Stephen Kilanda praised Enga Province for its commitment to cultural development. He said Enga has one of the most modern and iconic cultural centers in the country and is deeply rooted in cultural practices. The Enga provincial government has consistently supported the preservation, protection, development, promotion and safeguarding of tangible and intangible cultural heritages. Kilanda called on all provincial governments and district development authorities to partner with the NCC in reinstating pride in the country's diverse cultures. The NCC has signed Memorandum of Understanding with 7 provinces and is encouraging others to follow suit, recognizing culture as a vital resource. Port Moresby skylines will be changed when the luxurious 5-star Star Mountain Plaza Port Moresby Hilton Residences is completed. The 18 floors hotel is expected to be finished mid-July this year.
After the completion of the first stage of the Hilton Hotel in 2018 and is currently in operation, the second stage, the Hilton Residences, is set to open mid this year. The Hilton Residences will have 18 floors, including a recreational area, a hub work office space, a bar bistro eat and drink area, a gym, and various residential spaces that comprise studio rooms, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom apartments, totaling 180 residences. The media was recently given a tour of the magnificent structure of the Hilton Residences Hotel. The contractor for the Star Mountain Plaza Hilton Residential Project is Stratum Group. They were also engaged in end-to-end scope ranging from development management, design, procurement, and facilitating commercial feasibilities. The Hilton Hotel and Residence is funded by Mineral Resources Development Corporation under its landowner company, Star Mountain Plaza. Once the Hilton Residence is open, it will create an extra 150 jobs, which will be added to its current 250 staff working in the hotel. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
After the break, a look at what's making news in the region.
Superstition ain't the way.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier by you like you more.
Open Net.
Tired of sniffing, sneezing, and congestion? Stop popping pills that don't help. Get essential vitamins found in nature through these supplements that are formulated to reduce the symptoms of common colds and flu. Boost your body's immunity with these supplements that provide a protective shield against nasal congestion, sneezing, mild bronchial cough, and sore throats. Walk into a city pharmacy and pick up a bottle of Nature's Way Garlic Plus C and horseradish or the sugar-free Cenovus Sugarless Vitamin C tablets and say goodbye to sickness. Available at a city pharmacy near you.
Hiya, Mama. You wait time, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magical cuddle, get up and big smile on face. Time for kimchi and a great kumutu. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
Super Rugby Pacific. The pride of the Pacific Islands on display.
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon.
Welcome back. Concerns were raised by China about the Australia, United Kingdom and United States of America alliance and Australia's acquiring of nuclear-powered submarines. State Councillor and China's Foreign Minister Qin Gang, during his meet with PNG counterpart Foreign Minister Justin Kichenko, compared the alliance to a typical Cold War mentality and violates the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty as well as the South Pacific Nuclear Free Zone Treaty, also known as the Rarotonga Treaty of 1986. Kichenko emphasized PNG's strong support on the Pacific being a nuclear-free zone. Hence, the PNG National Executive Council endorsement of the signing of the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, to which Minister Kichenko looks to signing. Kichenko assured that PNG maintains a friends to all and enemies to none policy. More Australians are booking their holidays at the last minute, causing uncertainty for the tourism industry.
Busy beaches, bustling hotels and jam-packed airports over Easter are usually a sure bet, but since the pandemic, more holidaymakers are waiting until the last minute to book, leaving the tourism industry on edge.
I thought it might have returned to pre-COVID levels where people have a lot longer booking time, but it just hasn't, so I think that's a trend that's here to stay.
Hotels on the Gold and Sunshine coasts are only half full for the holidays, but that could change quickly with a wave of spur-of-the-moment bookings, forcing businesses to scramble to roster staff.
Palm Cove Holiday Park, Teresa speaking, how can I help?
It's a different kind of headache in the far north. At this Palm Cove caravan park, the phones are ringing off the hook. They're already fully booked and turning people away.
Many people that didn't travel abroad realise how beautiful this country is, how much there is to see.
According to the Queensland Tourism Industry Council, the rising cost of living means 8 out of 10 Australians are rethinking holiday plans or are travelling on a budget. There's a noticeable wane in pent-up demand, and foreign visitors are not returning as quickly as expected.
We have bounced back to more than pre-COVID domestically. International has been a slower burn, but we're getting there.
More than 240,000 passengers will pass through the Gold Coast airport in the next 2 weeks, down from 272,000 in 2019, the busiest Easter on record.
They're hoping that the Chinese market will return to about 80% of pre-pandemic levels by about September, October.
A reminder to Queenslanders not to leave their Christmas holiday plans to the last minute.
38 tonnes of illegal animal and plant products have been seized from shipping containers at a warehouse in Sydney City's west.
They look like any ordinary shipping containers, but a random biosecurity check uncovered tonnes of products that were anything but ordinary.
Pretty brutally killed as well.
I think it just defies belief that anyone thinks that they can sneak in material like this into Australia, which is world renowned for having one of the best biosecurity systems in the world.
There were frogs, geese, turtles and even donkeys in the shipment that arrived at a Western Sydney warehouse in February. Authorities say 7 containers were packed with 116 plant and animal species bound for the black market.
There's clearly a demand, the products are here, but the investigation is yet to identify where those products were destined for.
The Minister says this breach could have been disastrous for farmers.
That if it hadn't been picked up, could have been a very serious risk to our agriculture sector here in Australia.
The chances of these products containing threatening diseases are high. White spot has already been found in the prawns here, and there are concerns foot and mouth disease and African swine flu could also be present.
The shipment will be tested and then destroyed.
It doesn't matter whether someone is just trying to bring in a McMuffin through an airport or a mass seizure like this. Our biosecurity officers are on the job each and every day.
A number of warrants have been executed. Anyone convicted faces a fine of up to $1.3 million or 10 years in prison.
Leaders from across the political divide have today paid tribute to Yunupingu following his death in Arnhem Land. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese remembered him as a great Australian who walked in 2 worlds with authority, power and grace.
Champion of his people and an uncompromising political warrior, the Prime Minister remembered a man who meant so much to so many.
Yunupingu is one of the greatest of Australians. Not just an extraordinary leader of the Yolngu people and Indigenous Australians, but all Australians.
Others remembered him as a fighter, endlessly pushing for empowerment of his Gumatj countrymen on the Gove Peninsula.
He fought with a passion for his people, for land, for identity, and he loved this country.
He did what few could do. He fought and he built. He fought for rights, for freedoms and for respect. And he worked in partnership to deliver land, education, jobs and opportunity.
Mr Albanese revealed he'd spoken with Yunupingu not long before his death, when the Gumatj elder was in hospital and the Prime Minister was releasing the wording for an Indigenous voice to Parliament.
He said to me on that afternoon, and I'll never forget it, he said to me, "You spoke truth." And that was one of the most heartwarming things that anyone could possibly have ever said to me in my life.
As his family mourns in Arnhem Land, the Territory Government says Yunupingu's towering contribution to Australian life will be remembered.
We'll be working with his family to best recognise that visionary leadership that he graced us with for many decades.
Territory land councils today closed their offices and flew flags at half-mast out of respect for a leader whose tireless fight for land and sea rights opened the eyes of Australia to his people's plight and power.
And that ends the news segment. Taking us to the break now is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. And that ends the news segment. Jasmine Iru will be back after the break with sports.
Whatever you need for your building and home improvements, we got you covered. Hardware House. We supply high-quality professional tools, plumbing and electrical supplies, homeware and outdoor products, paints, building materials and much more, all at affordable prices. And with our experienced staff, we will provide you with the right advice and help you need. So for all your building and home improvement needs, Bayu Kisimware, Hardware House. Quality at affordable prices.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans. Expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend. PNG's own coffee.
Tasmania is Australia's smallest state, lying about 240 kilometres south of the mainland. Join me on my journey through this beautiful island state as I experience the produce, people and culture that makes this an unforgettable island.
The fabric of our state, a state bound by one dream, one colour, one team.
And the battle resumes. Right on the money.
It's on in the back plane.
It's on. There are punches. The Magic Man from Newcastle.
A heavy and bloody encounter earlier took place between the authorities and the said group.
The police raided the place where the Vendetta was staying, and one of the witnesses said that Cardo was among those that the police engaged with.
We saw it on the news. Vendetta has escaped again?
My son is still alive. I want to see my son!
I'm not gonna stop until I have found them.
My name is Peter Brown. I'm the branch manager of Atlas Steel in Port Moresby. I've been with Atlas Steel since 2013. When I came on board, we were working on a project with Digicel Foundation, developing classrooms, single classrooms and double classrooms. That's in Australia, but that's where our ideas are, that's where we're heading. So we love the work that Digicel Foundation do in schooling, and it's heartbreaking to see a lot of these children nowadays that they don't even get to school. And the ones that do get to school, sometimes the classrooms are falling apart. They don't have blackboards for the teachers to write on. They don't have desks, they don't have chairs. You know, that's pure Zinkaloo. Then here we have the colorbond. Unfortunately, in Papua New Guinea, men don't get a good write-up, but there's also a lot of good men out there. And what Digicel have done, they bring this to the forefront. They find the men of honour, the good men who are doing good things in their communities. And hopefully, with publicising that, more men see the example of some of the brothers, and they come along and they start being better people. We will continue to support the Men of Honour as long as it's running by the Digicel Foundation. It's great work, and we're happy and honoured to be part of it.
Welcome back. CPL Group today announced support towards sporting codes and programs. Among them was sponsorship support for NCD's premier rugby union competition, Capital Rugby Union. CPL Group CEO Navin Raju said the partnership is seen as an opportunity to develop teamwork and promote healthy minds and healthy bodies through sports, which is crucial for any sports to do well in the nation.
CPL Stop and Shop and Capital Rugby Union held a press conference today to announce CPL's continued support to CRU with a funding of 70,000 kina. Navin Raju, CEO of CPL Group, expressed pride in supporting Capital Rugby Union, saying the partnership is seen as an opportunity to develop teamwork and promote healthy minds and healthy bodies through sports. Raju acknowledged the strong foundation of the committee, people and strategy involved in running the program and developing talent, which is crucial for any sport to do well.
For any sport to do well in a nation, you need to have strong foundations. And what we found is that CRU has got very strong foundation in terms of the committee, in terms of the people that are involved in running this program, and also in terms of the strategy they have in developing our talent. This is one of the most talented sporting nation, but we just don't have the infrastructure and the people out there who can actually then direct that all into a sports code that is champion in its field.
CRU Vice President John Neil Kare expressed his gratitude to City Pharmacy and Stop and Shop for their support as gold sponsors for the different CRU divisions. Neil Kare highlighted the ambitious plans and programs of the union which need financial support to come to life. He acknowledged the importance of corporate sponsors and partners in raising the bar and code of rugby union in the country.
We pride ourselves as the #1 union in the country. We're trying to set the benchmark for the country. Our ambition is to raise rugby union in the country, raise the code to another level. So all of these things, we can't do it without the support of our corporate sponsors and corporate partners. So I just want a big thank you on behalf of the whole CRU community to CPL, Navin, and the team here for getting behind us. We will use this money wisely, we will invest into the game, we will grow the game and make CPL and all of its staff proud of what CRU can do for them.
Representatives from the Harlequins and Sisters clubs expressed gratitude also.
Willie Kalai from Harlequins Rugby Union Club. On behalf of the players of CRU, I would like to say thank you to CPL Group to come on board as co-sponsor for this season 2023.
My name is Angela. I play for the women's division, Sisters, for our club, which is Brothers. We just want to say thank you for the support and the sponsorship that CPL is providing. You've always continued to sponsor us from as far as I can remember, so I want to say a big thank you on behalf of my teammates and everybody. Yeah.
Last weekend's games were disrupted by bad weather, but some matches still happened. The New Power Sports Talk 7s are this weekend, and regular games will resume next weekend. Carol Kidu Jr., TV1 Sports.
The Solomon Games have officially opened in Honiara, a key event before the country's hosting of the Pacific Games in November and December. 9 sports are on the program at the event, which sees the country's different provinces send teams to compete against each other. These are basketball athletics, beach volleyball, boxing, canoeing, netball, rugby sevens, taekwondo and volleyball. The Pacific Games are due to take place between November the 19th and December the 2nd, with Solomon Islands hosting for the first time. The rivalry round lived up to its name with round 4 of the Host Plus Cup, one of the most competitive and fierce yet. There were last-minute wins, powerful performances, and yet another draw, highlighting just how close the cup is this year.
The Forex rivalry round lived up to its name with round 4 of the Host Plus Cup, one of the most competitive and fierce yet. The Northern Pride and Townsville Blackhawks added another thrilling chapter to their long-running rivalry in round 4 with a field goal deciding the Forex rivalry round clash of the week. And players certainly stood up for their teams to take a win over their rivals with a number of standouts across the weekend. Sunshine Coast Falcons second rower Jack Howarth was also monumental for his side, making a massive impact in their resounding 40-12 victory over the Western Clydesdales. Particularly impressive in attack, the Melbourne Storm affiliate has taken out the Host Plus Strong Performer title for round 4. Redcliffe Dolphins halfback Cody Hunter put on an absolute masterclass against the Wynnum Manly Seagulls in round 4 to help last year's grand finalists claim their first win of the 2023 season and earned himself the nod as Hastings Deering Player of the Match. Each round, Queensland Rugby League recognises the 17 best performers and names the Host Plus Cup Team of the Week. Salome Vincent, TV1 Sports.
A Four Corners investigation has found Paralympic athletes, including Australians, are deliberately exaggerating their impairments in a bid to win medals.
Like all Paralympians, Madison Elliott was assessed and placed in a sporting class based on how her impairment affects her performance. The International Paralympic Committee is responsible for the 14 different swimming classes. It's complex, but it's meant to level the playing field for athletes with all kinds of disabilities or impairments.
The classification that I was put in was 2 limbs affected, so it could mean right arm, right leg, or left arm, left leg. And then you've got people that are in higher classes who have less impairments, and then people in lower classes who have more impairments.
When you get classified, what are the classifiers looking for?
They look the balance of your body in the water to see how your legs will compare when you relax in the water. I can catch with my left hand, but I can't close my right hand, and so water would go through my fingers.
Are you supposed to put in maximum effort?
Yes, they just want to see your ability at a fast pace, and they always expect you to do it at your 100% best.
Classification doesn't always work that way. There's an advantage in competing against athletes with more significant impairments. The classification process can create an incentive to underperform, even exaggerate an impairment. Athletes, coaches and parents can game the system to increase the chance of winning. This is the big taboo of Paralympic sport. Is it hard or easy to exaggerate a disability during classification, would you say?
It is very easy to exaggerate in a classification. And there are people who are just doing it because they're not winning in their classification. They want to compete in a classification that they can win in.
And that ends the news tonight. Over to you, Carol.
Thanks, Chaz. Before we go, remember to apply the following simple measures to prevent transmission of the coronavirus. Regularly wash your hands with soap and water, cough or sneeze into your elbow, and exercise social distancing. If you are feeling sick, please stay at home. You can also call the COVID-19 hotline number for more information or assistance. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.